What if I told you that some of the most powerful people in US history weren't just running the country, they were sleeping with everyone? From Bill Clinton's ties to Epstein, to Donald Trump's rumored involvement, love affairs, scandals, and secrets have shaken the elite for decades. Today, we'll dive into the most shocking and scandalous stories of the US. First, families. Get ready, because these stories will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about American power. 1. Bill Clinton. First up, let's start with Bill Clinton, the 42nd President of the United States, known for his incredible political career, but also for his long list of scandals. But one scandal in particular stands out: his connection to the infamous financier Jeffrey Epstein. Clinton flew on Epstein's private jet multiple times, at least 26 times, according to flight logs, and he was often seen in Epstein's circle of powerful, influential people. Clinton has denied any wrongdoing and insists that he was only on Epstein's plane for work related to the Clinton Foundation, but that doesn't explain the numerous rumors and whispers about his relationship with Epstein. Many believe that Clinton's close ties to Epstein are much more than just a coincidence. And then there's the infamous Monica Lewinsky affair, which shook Clinton's presidency to its core. But Clinton's affair with Lewinsky was just one of the many alleged liaisons he had during his time in the White House. It's no secret that Clinton was known for his womanizing ways, and his charm made him the subject of many rumors and stories about romantic entanglements with women, both in and out of the political world. But Epstein's involvement adds a dark twist to the story. What if Clinton's ties to Epstein went beyond social meetings and casual encounters? What if the entire circle of powerful elites surrounding Epstein played a much larger role in the political landscape than we are willing to admit? Clinton's name has become intertwined with Epstein's scandal, making it one of the most enduring mysteries of modern politics. 2. Donald Trump. Let's now turn our attention to Donald Trump, the 45th President of the United States, who's just as well known for his connection to Epstein as for his own political career. Trump and Epstein were not only friends but also frequent socialites in the same high society circles. They were seen together at many elite gatherings, and both had a reputation for living lavish lifestyles. Trump has denied any involvement in Epstein's criminal activities, but their connection goes much deeper than just the occasional social meeting. Trump and Epstein were often seen together at Mar-a-Lago, Trump's luxurious private estate, and Trump once referred to Epstein as a terrific guy, even commenting on how they both had an appreciation for young women. That's a comment that still raises eyebrows today. But it doesn't end there. Trump has been accused of sexual misconduct by multiple women, some of whom allege that he assaulted them during the time he was close friends with Epstein. There are also whispers of relationships between Trump and women connected to Epstein's inner circle, though these have never been fully confirmed. What's most fascinating about Trump's connection to Epstein is how easy it was for these men to move through the circles of power and wealth, even as the world around them questioned their morals and integrity. And even after Epstein's arrest, Trump maintained a level of distance, but his ties to the scandal remain impossible to ignore. 3. Warren G. Harding. Next, we have a scandal that goes all the way back to the early 1900s with Warren G. Harding, the 29th President of the United States. Harding's presidency was marred by political scandals, but the most personal scandal of all came from his romantic affairs. Harding, a known womanizer, had a secret relationship with Nan Britton, a woman much younger than him, and fathered a child with her during his time in office. The real twist in this scandal? Harding bought Britton's silence for years, paying her off to keep their affair hidden. This affair was so well concealed that it wasn't until many years after Harding's death that Britton came forward with the story. The affair, and the cover-up, were a deep embarrassment to the Harding family, but it wasn't the only secret in Harding's life. Many believe that Harding's marriage to Florence Harding was also filled with secrets, and the president's womanizing was an open secret. Harding's personal life was a reflection of how much politicians in power could get away with when they had the right connections and influence. 4. Alexander Hamilton. Now, let's jump back to the early days of America with Alexander Hamilton, one of the founding fathers of the United States. Hamilton's political career was shaped by intense public scrutiny, but his own affair with Maria Reynolds became one of the first major political sex scandals in the country's history. Hamilton, who was the first Secretary of the Treasury, had a secret affair with Maria Reynolds, the wife of a political rival. The affair was exposed when her husband, James Reynolds, blackmailed Hamilton, threatening to expose the affair unless Hamilton paid him off. Eventually, Hamilton admitted to the affair in order to clear his name from allegations of financial corruption. But the affair became one of the first scandals to ever be tied to a U.S. government official. While Hamilton's reputation never fully recovered, it's fascinating to consider that even in the early days of American politics, personal lives and sexual scandals were intrinsically linked to political careers. The affair with Maria Reynolds became a defining moment in Hamilton's life, and its repercussions lasted long after his death. 5. Thomas Jefferson. One of the most shocking secrets of early American politics revolves around Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, and his long-hidden affair with Sally Hemings, one of his enslaved women. This relationship has been disputed for centuries, but DNA testing confirmed what many historians had suspected. Jefferson fathered several children with Hemings. For years, Jefferson's personal life was shrouded in secrecy, and the affair was largely ignored by the public. But it wasn't until after Jefferson's death that the full scope of his relationship with Hemings came to light. Hemings was just 14 when she became a slave at Jefferson's estate, and their relationship was likely overlooked or suppressed for years, given the racist views of the time and Jefferson's position of power. The affair and the resulting children were kept out of the public eye for much of Jefferson's life, despite being known among Jefferson's closest associates. For many, this scandal paints Jefferson, a man who championed liberty and freedom in his political life, as a hypocrite, using his power to exploit the woman who had no legal rights and was forced into a relationship with him. This affair, and its hidden nature, raises tough questions about how the Founding Fathers lived their lives behind closed doors, and what was hidden for the sake of political legacy. 6. John F. Kennedy. Next, we move to John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, whose presidency was marked by his powerful charisma and charm, and also by his infamous womanizing. Kennedy's reputation as a ladies' man is one of the most widely known scandals in modern American history, with numerous allegations of affairs during his time in office. One of the most notorious stories involves his alleged relationship with Marilyn Monroe, the iconic actress. Monroe was said to have had a secret romance with Kennedy, and her famous performance of Happy Birthday, Mr. President, only fueled the rumors. But Monroe was not the only woman in Kennedy's life. There were numerous affairs, with some women claiming their relationships with him continued long after he became president. Kennedy's affairs were an open secret in Washington, with many of his close allies and even his wife, Jacqueline Kennedy, seemingly turning a blind eye to the numerous liaisons. But it wasn't just about the women. Kennedy's relationships were rumored to be linked to political power and secrecy. The most significant of these affairs involved Judith Campbell Exner, who allegedly had connections to both Kennedy and the mafia. The complex web of relationships around Kennedy raises questions about the intersection of personal and political power and how leaders used their influence in ways that were often kept hidden from the public.
7. Franklin D. Roosevelt.
Let's now look at Franklin D. Roosevelt, one of America's most beloved and successful presidents. Roosevelt is known for leading the U.S. through the Great Depression and World War II. But what many don't know is that his personal life was marked by a long-standing affair with Lucy Mercer, his wife's social secretary. The relationship between Roosevelt and Mercer began before he became president, and although Roosevelt's wife, Eleanor Roosevelt, was aware of the affair, she chose to remain silent to protect their family's political career. However, the affair became widely known in political circles, and some even speculated that Roosevelt may have had romantic feelings for Mercer that lasted throughout his presidency. The affair was not just a personal scandal, it had serious political implications. FDR's relationship with Mercer was kept secret from the public, and the couple went to great lengths to maintain appearances. Even after the affair ended, Roosevelt and his wife continued to work together in public, presenting a united front despite the personal betrayal. This affair reflects the power dynamics of the time, where politicians had the power to hide their personal lives to preserve their political image. 8. Bill Clinton. No discussion of political scandals would be complete without mentioning Bill Clinton, the 42nd President of the United States, and one of the most famous cases of sexual misconduct in modern American politics. Clinton's affair with Monica Lewinsky, a White House intern, led to his impeachment in 1998. The scandal broke when Lewinsky admitted to having a sexual relationship with Clinton while he was in office. The subsequent investigation revealed that Clinton had lied under oath about the affair, which led to charges of perjury and obstruction of justice. Though Clinton was acquitted in the Senate and remained in office, the scandal shattered his reputation and became a defining moment in American political history. But the Monica Lewinsky affair was not Clinton's only scandal. Throughout his political career, Clinton was known for his womanizing and had numerous allegations of sexual harassment and infidelity before and after his time in the White House. These scandals became part of the larger narrative about Clinton's presidency, overshadowing his political achievements and leaving a lasting mark on his legacy. 9. The Kennedy sisters. The Kennedy family has long been known for its political power, but behind their public personas lies a dark history of love affairs and scandals, and it's not just the men who were involved. The women of the Kennedy family, particularly Kathleen Kennedy and Rosemary Kennedy, had their own share of secrets, some of which were hidden for years. Kathleen "Kick" Kennedy, the sister of John F. Kennedy, was known for her romantic entanglements that scandalized high society. She had relationships with prominent figures, but her most tragic affair was with William "Billy" Hartington, a British nobleman. Their engagement was met with disapproval from both families due to political and cultural tensions. Unfortunately, Kick Kennedy died in a plane crash at the young age of 28, leaving behind a story of unrequited love and political drama. Then there's Rosemary Kennedy, whose personal life and emotional struggles were largely kept hidden. It is said that her mental health issues were largely ignored by her family, and in a tragic turn, she underwent a lobotomy at the age of 23, which left her mentally disabled for the rest of her life. While not directly tied to love affairs, her tragic treatment sheds light on the dark side of the Kennedy family's control over personal lives and the secrets they worked so hard to conceal. The women of the Kennedy family, from Kick's doomed romance to Rosemary's painful journey, remain a testament to how power and political ambition can intertwine with personal tragedy, forever shaping their legacies in ways that have often remained hidden from the public eye. 10. John Tyler's children. Moving on to John Tyler, the 10th President of the United States, whose personal life was marked by multiple marriages and the personal scandals that followed. Tyler's first marriage to Letitia Christian Tyler ended when she passed away, and his second marriage to Julia Gardner, much younger than him, raised eyebrows in political circles. However, the real drama came from his children, especially his son, David Gardner Tyler, who had romantic relationships that caused political turbulence. As with many early American presidents, the private lives of those close to him, including his children's romantic entanglements, became the stuff of political gossip. These stories were rarely told but played a major role in the public's perception of the Tyler family. 11. Jacqueline Kennedy. The life of Jacqueline Kennedy, often portrayed as the epitome of grace and strength, also hides a dark side of romantic entanglements. After the assassination of John F. Kennedy, Jackie became the widow of one of the most famous men in history. However, rumors have long circulated about her love life after JFK's death. Most notably, there were whispers about her relationships with Aristotle Onassis, the Greek shipping magnate. Their marriage was seen as a way for Jackie to escape from the political spotlight of Washington, but many rumors suggested that Jackie's love life wasn't as serene as it appeared. Even though she married Onassis for protection and status, she was also linked to several other men, including high-profile figures like Robert F. Kennedy, who was allegedly more than just a brother-in-law to her. These rumors were never fully confirmed, but they lingered around Jackie's legacy. It's a story of how a widow became a recluse, while simultaneously being at the center of romantic scandals that were largely hidden from the public eye. 12. Sarah Palin. While not part of a dynastic political family, Sarah Palin certainly generated her own share of sex scandals during her time in the public spotlight. As the Republican vice presidential nominee in 2008, Palin became a political sensation, but along with her rise to fame came a series of rumors about her personal life. Specifically, there were reports suggesting that Sarah Palin's marriage to Todd Palin wasn't as picture-perfect as it appeared. These rumors, which were fueled by public speculation and her popularity, included talk of extramarital affairs and a strained relationship. Her dramatic rise and fall in the political arena also created the perfect environment for rumors to swirl about her private life. Although these rumors were largely never substantiated, they provide insight into how a public figure's personal life can quickly become fodder for scandal when it intersects with the high-stakes world of politics. 13. Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson, the 7th President of the United States, led a life filled with controversy and personal scandals, including multiple romantic affairs. Known for his fiery temperament and aggressive political tactics, Jackson's personal life was just as dramatic. One of the most famous scandals of Jackson's life was his marriage to Rachel Donaldson Roberts, whom he married after she was accused of bigamy. Though the marriage was legal, it was questioned by political opponents who used it as ammunition against Jackson's moral character. There were also rumors about Jackson's interactions with other women, including potential infidelities, but the details of these relationships were never fully uncovered. Jackson's personal scandals, especially around his marriage, painted a picture of a man whose fierce ambition and personal choices were intertwined, contributing to his reputation as one of the most polarizing figures in American history. 14. Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor, one of the most iconic actresses of the 20th century, had a long list of husbands and romantic entanglements that shook both Hollywood and the political elite. Her numerous marriages, including 2 to actor Richard Burton, were widely publicized, but what many don't know is that Taylor was also linked to US presidents in more ways than one. Most notably, Taylor had an alleged affair with Senator John F. Kennedy, who would later become the 35th President of the United States. It was rumored that their flirtation grew into a romantic relationship, though it was never fully confirmed. Taylor was known to be part of Kennedy's circle, and her presence at political events with him led many to believe there was more than just a friendship between them. But her connections didn't stop there. Taylor's social life was intertwined with powerful men, and she was rumored to have had affairs with several political figures, including Senator Robert F. Kennedy and even Nixon's advisors. Taylor's sexual allure and her status as a Hollywood icon made her a subject of intrigue, with some believing that her romantic exploits were just as important to her legacy as her film career. The love life of Elizabeth Taylor was a reflection of the blurred lines between politics and celebrity, where the rich and powerful often mixed business with pleasure. The secrets surrounding her relationships with American politicians remain part of the mystique of her legendary life. 15. Carrie Fulton Phillips. Carrie Fulton Phillips was one of the most intriguing figures in Warren G. Harding's personal life. She was a longtime mistress of the 29th president, and her relationship with him lasted for years, even during his presidency. The affair between Harding and Phillips was kept secret for many years, but after Harding's death, the story came to light, revealing a deep political scandal. Phillips not only had a romantic relationship with Harding, but she also had political leverage over him. She allegedly used their affair to influence his political decisions, and the secrecy around their relationship allowed her to gain favor with powerful figures. Harding's attempts to keep the affair under wraps were unsuccessful, and Phillips later became one of the most talked about figures of his personal life. The scandal surrounding Carrie Fulton Phillips highlighted the hidden power dynamics within the White House, where personal relationships were often used for political gain. Phillips' influence on Harding became a symbol of how intimate connections can affect the highest levels of government. 16. The Bush family. The Bush family is one of America's most powerful dynasties, and while they have maintained a clean public image, their personal lives have not been without controversy. From George H. W. Bush to his son George W. Bush, the family has been involved in several love stories, scandals, and even rumors of infidelities. For instance, there were rumors that George H. W. Bush had been involved in an extramarital affair during his time as vice president, though these were never proven. His personal life, though largely publicly stable, was often a topic of gossip among political insiders. Meanwhile, George W. Bush's younger years have been subject to some scandalous tales, with rumors of wild partying and reckless behavior during his college years. These stories were closely tied to the family's political rise, with Bush's youthful indiscretions often coming up in the press. Despite the powerful legacy of the Bush family, their personal lives reveal the complexities of political dynasties. The Bush's hidden scandals are part of the fabric of American politics, showing how family secrets can be swept under the rug for the sake of political image. 17. Sarah Palin. Sarah Palin, the former governor of Alaska and Republican vice presidential candidate, became a political sensation and a symbol of conservative values. But alongside her rise to fame, there were rumors about her marriage to Todd Palin, with allegations of affairs and strained relationships surrounding their public image. The most talked about rumor was about Todd Palin's infidelity during their marriage, though this was never publicly confirmed. The media circus surrounding Palin's political career was compounded by her personal struggles, including the speculation about her relationship with her husband. Some even claimed that Sarah herself was involved in secret romances, though no concrete evidence surfaced to support these claims. The scrutiny that Palin faced throughout her political career was not just about her policies or public persona, it was about her private life and how it became part of the media spectacle surrounding her. Like many public figures, Palin's personal affairs became the centerpiece of her public narrative, and the rumors surrounding her relationships contributed to her controversial legacy. 18. Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson, the 7th President of the United States, was no stranger to scandal and romantic drama. Known for his fiery temperament and political aggressiveness, Jackson's personal life was just as dramatic. One of the most infamous aspects of his personal life was his marriage to Rachel Donaldson Roberts, a woman whose previous marriage was questioned due to a potential bigamy charge. This scandal plagued Jackson's campaign and was used by his enemies to undermine his character. Jackson's infidelities and personal scandals also included his relationships with other women during his time as a prominent military leader and politician. The public scrutiny surrounding his personal life was immense, yet Jackson's forceful personality and determined political agenda helped him rise above these rumors, becoming one of the most influential figures in American history. 19. Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor is not only one of Hollywood's most legendary actresses, but also a woman whose romantic life seemed to rival the drama of the film she starred in. Taylor's personal affairs were as high-profile as her career, and many of them involved connections to powerful political figures, including presidents of the United States. One of the most talked-about relationships was with Senator John F. Kennedy. Although their affair was never fully confirmed, rumors circulated for years about their secret romance. Taylor, often seen in the same social circles as Kennedy and his family, was said to have been deeply involved with him during his time in office. In addition, Taylor was known to have had an affair with Robert F. Kennedy, another prominent member of the Kennedy family. The intrigue surrounding her relationships with the Kennedys only added to the mystique of her public image, and it seemed that the lines between Hollywood fame and political power were often blurred in her world. But it wasn't just the Kennedys. Taylor's marriages to Richard Burton became public spectacles, and their passionate relationship was the subject of media frenzy. However, it's the connection with political elites that adds a fascinating layer to her story. Taylor's marriages were often seen as more than just romantic alliances. They were about status, power, and influence. She was a woman whose beauty, allure, and personal magnetism captured the attention of the most influential figures in both Hollywood and Washington. Through her numerous marriages, affairs, and social connections, Elizabeth Taylor's personal life serves as a reminder of how the rich and powerful often intertwine their private passions with political ambitions, creating a world where romance and power were often inseparable. 20. Carrie Fulton Phillips. The scandal involving Carrie Fulton Phillips and Warren G. Harding is one of the most intriguing and politically charged affairs in American history. Harding, the 29th president, was known for his personal scandals, but his relationship with Phillips added a particularly dangerous dimension to his political life. Carrie Fulton Phillips was not just a mistress. She wielded political influence over Harding, even threatening to expose their affair in exchange for political leverage. Phillips and Harding had a long-term affair that was kept secret for years, but it was only after Harding's death that the full extent of their relationship came to light. What makes this scandal so fascinating is how Phillips used her position as Harding's lover to gain favor with key political figures of the time. Harding's relationship with Phillips wasn't just about personal satisfaction. It became interwoven with political power. Phillips's access to Harding allowed her to influence decisions and gain favors for herself and her political allies. The affair was kept hidden from the public, but the whispers about it grew louder as Harding's presidency continued. The affair became a symbol of how personal relationships could be used to manipulate political outcomes, a concept that remains relevant in the high-stakes world of political power. When Phillips revealed the affair after Harding's death, the political ramifications were enormous. The press and public reacted with shock, as they realized that one of the most powerful men in the country had been controlled by a woman with a secret agenda. Harding's romantic entanglements with Phillips highlighted the extent to which personal lives, even in the highest offices, were often driven by hidden agendas and the quest for power.